He's Rick Tyler.
And he's Dan Cashman.
And I am Biguita Hernandez-Smith, Economic Development Officer for the City of Bangor. And I'm on the Ric and Dan Show.
In Maine, we often hear,
You can't get there from here.
these are the stories of the risk takers.
The trailblazers.
Those who turn obstacles into opportunities
every day and found their way.
to get there from here.
And today,
There on the Ric and Dan Show.
well, here I am all alone in the studio talking to myself because Dan is running late and our guest is still sitting in the AV lounge and Elizabeth is yapping her ear off. Guess I'm going to set some waters up for everybody. That'd be good. Welcome to our studio. You're sitting right over here. Why, look, the president and CEO of Sutherland & Weston has a bag of swag for you. There's something lovely from our sponsor, Coffee Hound Coffee. Medium roast, because we figure that you've got enough caffeine going with you, the energy level that you have.
That's good. Thank you so much. And this is a Christmas one.
It's an air freshener, actually. If you want to hang it on your tree, you go right ahead. One of the Ric and Dan air fresheners. And Dan will be here in just a second. I'm supposed to say, guests of the Ric and Dan Show receive our home game, which is really just sitting around and talking to yourself. And lovely gifts from Coffee Hound Coffee, our sponsor. And in a moment, Dan will walk through the door and say the three words he's supposed to say. Then he'll say Coffee Hound Coffee Co. And then he'll say their website.
Wander, caffeinate, explore. Coffee Hound Coffee Company. Find them online at coffeehoundcoffeeco.com.
Biguita, before buying a car, some people will test drive a car. Before adopting an animal, you can foster one. You took a job in Bangor without ever coming to Bangor first?
I love the element of surprise. I love spontaneity. I love living life a tad on the edge. I've disciplined myself enough to know where on the edge I can live. But yeah, it's exciting to me.
Would you have done that with any community, or did you do a little bit of digging into what makes Bangor Bangor before making that choice?
So caveat, and not to get, because I have to bring the facts in. The facts are that...
Facts? What do we use facts on this show?
No.
But anyway.
This will be a first.
This will be first for us. Go ahead, you facts.
So the fact is that I lost my mom, right? So I lost my mom pretty abruptly, not expecting to lose her. She was in decent health. And so my husband and I had some really deep conversations about what's next. Should we stay in Texas? Where should we go? And I am a mother, and I am a mother like my mother, where I put my children and my grandchildren first. And anyhow, Jason knows me very well, and Jason said, I think that we need to go elsewhere. I think you need some time. And he offered me a proposal. He said, I am going to apply all over the country, and let's see where we land. And that's how we got to Bangor or to Maine. And so he was called by Maine, and he was asked to come on campus. And I said, just take a picture of downtown for me and let me see what it looks like. And I was like, oh, it's so cute. It looks like a Hallmark movie.
Do you remember what the picture was of, which area of downtown he took?
It was Even Roots, because that's where they went. That's where they went to dinner. When Even Roots was Even Roots.
Right, yeah.
So he got a gig in Orono, and you got a gig in Bangor.
Not quite.
Oh, facts. Stupid facts.
Not
Go ahead.
quite.
Set me straight.
So, okay. Not too much detail. He got invited on campus to Orono. At that moment, I can't remember exactly the timeline, but I said, well, okay, let me do some. It wasn't really a search. It wasn't a job search. It was like, I'm going to go on LinkedIn. And this position stood out to me. It was Economic Development Officer for the City of Bangor. And it was promoted by the International Economic Development Council, which I follow, or I had followed and still follow, and I'm a member now. And so I was like, oh, Maine. Bangor. Didn't even put it like in my GPS how far the two cities were. I was just like, oh, let me open this up. What intrigued me about the position was it had some components of economic development that I had never done before, like the foreign trade zone, like international relations, working with the airport, real estate development. So I applied on a Friday night. And so the short story of a very long story is that I got an interview, or was on an interview, as Jason was fighting a storm in Philadelphia to get to Bangor. And in that interview, I was offered the position.
Wow.
On a Zoom interview. I've never been... I mean, when does that happen? Who does that? And so I was like, wait a second, guys, because I have a husband who's not there yet. And so the very next day I had an offer letter in my inbox, and I was so excited because I love new and I love to learn new things. So he didn't reveal to me because he had to be on point for the whole interview process. But he was very stressed for those next 3 weeks because it took 3 weeks for them to offer.
So he didn't have the job offer when you got the job offer.
He did not.
So he was up
However,
here.
he initiated the search.
But it still seems divine that the both of you got what you needed, and you're looking at the map, you're just this far apart.
That is the word.
Who
divine.
saw that coming? You have a big job. You're attracting business and wooing entrepreneurs to the third biggest city in our state. Mm-hmm. How big a job is that?
Well, first off, it's a big job and it's way more than that, right? And so it's business attraction, right? In a subtle way to let folks know this is a destination place and you should consider it. And that's traveling nationally and internationally and talking about the city, the state, and the opportunities here. When you talk about wooing entrepreneurs, yeah, it's about continuing to ignite their passion, but also teaching them and getting them to understand how to build their business. But then it's also foreign trade zone, right? And so how do we buffer the new tariff policies and ensure that our importers and exporters are in a healthy position? And then it's also we, the city, we own city properties, and it's managing those properties and ensuring that those properties are well kept and our tenants are taken care of. And then it's also managing an innovation center, a manufacturing innovation center. And then it's also building, right? So we're building a central kitchen incubator. So it's all those things. And yes, it is a very big job.
Are there any small fish, or are they all big fish responding to people that have an interest? It could be a big corporation that's looking for someplace, and you've got more than a dozen reasons to say, hey, come look at the greater Bangor area. Or if it's just a single person with a dream and a spark and a drive.
It's all of it.
So they're all big fish.
It's all. It's small fish. It's small people that need a helping hand, that need someone to guide them through how to start a business or just understand and listen to their idea. So yes, that very big business that we want to attract here, whether it be from another state or internationally.
Do you see any of yourself in the conversations you have with people that you're looking to attract to come here? Maybe they haven't been here. They don't know much about Bangor. Do you have that memory recall of being in that same position? And do you use that to your advantage?
I can relate, right? And it's probably not my move from the Houston region to Bangor. It's more my move from New York to the Houston region.
Yeah.
And trying to understand, okay, how do I fit in here? How can I contribute, but also tread lightly to build genuine relationships? How do I bring my experience and have it be accepted? And how do I not judge, right? So, I mean, we all know Knicks are in the finals. New Yorkers, we are going to represent. We are very proud of who we are, right? And bringing, not losing that bravado, but bringing it in a way that can be accepted. And again, right, I never lived in the South. So all the stigmas of the South, slowness of the South, the inauthenticity of the South, they don't do business like how we do business. And being able to to rid myself of that prejudgment and to be able to acclimate and understand the community. So I can relate to that when people, and let me caveat by saying complete transparency, right? I would never agree to be in any place or speak without being completely honest. So living in the South for 10 years in both Houston and Beaumont, Texas, a lot of my community there were concerned with the fact that this state was not diverse. Oh my God, what's going to happen to you? No one there looks like you. Now, what's very interesting is I had no hesitation about that. Why? Because I come from the least diverse New York borough, which is Staten Island. So oftentimes I was the only person of color, the only Latina in the room. And quite frankly, in every school that I went to, because I went to private schools that were very costly, and my mother, worked 3 jobs in order for me to go to those, I was the only one in a classroom. And the majority of my friends, probably until I was 21, were predominantly Caucasian. So this was not an unfamiliar thing for me, right? Like I know how to build relationships and I know who people are. And I really tap in quite naturally to people's humanity, and that is received. So I didn't have any doubt about coming to a city like Bangor or Maine. But what's really powerful is when I tell my story. So having been here 2 years and even after a year, going to places like Durham, North Carolina, and people going, what are you doing in Maine? What's going on there? And for me to tell the story about my experience and the quality of life and my opportunities and the big things, right? It's not only the quality of life. It's not only vacation land. We got some really innovative things happening over here. So when I tell that story as a person who looks like me, other people who look like me can trust it.
Building those relationships takes time. How do you not get tired of, okay, I got to find the strength. I've got to go and I've got to meet again with someone. I've got to tell them the story. I've got to tell them of the opportunity. How do you get yourself jazzed up for that?
I'm designed in that way. Now, I cannot do that 100%. And we talked about divinity, right? Yep. Divinity is having a husband who is not that, who is not the extrovert, and who balances me and who understands that and helps me to say, it's time to come home, or stop saying yes to everything. You don't have to say yes to everything. Because how I'm designed naturally is that I love people and people give me joy. But as a human, our spirit needs to rest, right? So that I could be rejuvenated to do it all over again. But I don't think that everybody is made for this kind of work.
He causes us to lie down by still waters. It's not that we choose to take the vacation. God says, hey, take a breather. It would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Is that why I fall asleep when I hear you talk?
Still waters. Rick still waters.
That's what we call him. We call him Stillwater Rick around here. My second favorite place in the world is New York City. My favorite place in the world is Eastern Maine. None of my friends. I'm glad Rick's taking a drink of water because he would make a joke about the lack of friends that I have.
After that last crack at me, I think you just lost another one. But anyway, go on.
Perfect. None of my friends can understand that. Everybody I try to explain it to, they say, well, we just don't see it. Eastern Maine is so different than New York. But I love New York. But what I'm hearing you say is that you see a lot of Bangor in Staten Island, or you see a lot of Staten Island in Bangor. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, big time. And even beyond Staten Island, it's a mentality that, first of all, we're guarded people. We're not going to let everyone in, right? And even though I'm in this work of economic development where I'm going to have an authentic conversation with you, doesn't mean that you're in my circle. But once you've reached my inner circle, I got your back. And that's how Mainers are. And our will, right? Our determination to make things happen and to work hard to be able to get to that end result. And I don't know that this is necessarily a positive thing, but trying to do it on our own without asking for help or being collaborative.
Yeah, that's Maine right there.
That is.
We're proud.
And that's also Staten Island.
Yes.
Really?
Is there any Texas in there?
No. Caveat. My very dedicated and committed husband has my back.
Is he from Texas?
Yeah, Jason is from Houston.
Gotcha. Staten Island has a very special place in my heart. Rick knows last year I did the New York Marathon, and that was the most meaningful thing I've ever done on my own. I mean, people help me train and stuff, but you can't finish that if you can't finish that yourself.
It helped that guy was behind you, chasing you, trying to steal your wallet.
He was trying to light me on fire.
Okay.
That's not true. But I'm just, so the New York the New York Marathon starts on Staten Island. And I was overcome with emotion several times throughout the course. And it started on Staten Island. I just started bawling at the start line. And I thought, good Lord, I'm going to be so dehydrated. This is not good. And going over that bridge that I always thought was called the Staten Island Bridge, and it's not. What's the name of it?
The Verrazano to Brooklyn?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Or the Goethals.
You go to Brooklyn, it's 2 miles. So the first 2 miles of the race is on that bridge. And I remember looking to my left and seeing the lower Manhattan skyline. And it was just magical and spiritual. And Staten Island will always have such a special place in my heart simply because of that. How much of your heart does Staten Island have?
So first of all, I really appreciate you pronouncing it correctly like we do. Not Staten Island. Staten Island, we just put it all together. Appreciate that.
Wow. Thank you.
My heart and soul. Oh my God, Staten Island. Yeah. my heart and soul. So I just hosted a bunch of my girls from Staten Island who came, and we kayaked for the first time, and they loved Maine, and they felt kind of the same way and very comfortable here. Staten Island, I mean, it's my roots. We have our own accent, right? We're New Yorkers, and we were always called the forgotten borough, not so forgotten anymore. Wu-Tang, right? Like Wu-Tang Clan. The whole St. George area is now fully developed. I'm really proud, but nothing more to say. This is where I come from, and it will always be my home. And when I go home, it's home. I get love, but I've been very blessed to have many places home.
And Bangor feels like home.
Bangor feels like home. Bangor, because of how small the city is. I mean, I think we're like 45,000. It was just so easier to build relationships here. And it's been 2 years, and I have some really good relationships. I mean, it's kind of simple, the formula. You show up for people, you're present. People are going to feel that. People are going to be attracted to that.
Mm-hmm. What I don't understand, and I'm going to bravely say this, you don't look like you've been in the biz for 20 plus years.
I've been in the biz for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm.
Did you start when you were 5? I'm not
7.
trying to. I said, good. Because, totally honest, 40 plus years in broadcasting in Maine and 30 years reporting, I have seen your predecessors in City Hall. They were old and gray. This job can take a lot out of you. You look pretty vibrant to me. What's your secret?
Vanity. To a certain extent, right? Vanity, I always say, like in terms of weight, let's just take weight. I am only going to get to a certain point because it's important to me to present a full package to the world, and that being intelligent, having the experience, being authentic, and looking great. And that's important to me and not so important to everyone else. So vanity has saved me. And in that vanity, especially getting older, I am embracing taking care of myself. Prior to this, I mean, I could, New Yorker party girl, right? Catholic school girl, like we partied, and I could look the same way from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning. But I got to take a little more care of myself these days. So I have to moisturize and I have to get good sleep. But yeah, I mean, I say that to everyone, like, I have a certain amount of pride in how I present myself physically to the world.
So that's why I want to ask you about your commitment to fitness, because I first met you walking into Evolve Fitness one day.
You sure did.
You were coming in to take.
I was in the parking lot.
Yes, you were. And we walked side by side. I met you for the first time.
Yeah, you were
and
so
I walked
nice.
in and said to everybody, hey, I just met Biguita. She's from Texas. And John Baylor was there and said, oh, yeah, I met Biguita a long time ago because you had been in other classes.
Yes.
You not only take classes, you teach classes. And this is interesting because I think this is the first time in the history of our show we have a guest, and we'd already talked to one of your bosses on a previous episode.
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
My girl.
Yeah, Sunshine. Well, how many classes do you teach?
I teach one kind of class, and that's Zumba, and it's Latin Zumba. And I teach that now 3 times a week. You want to know the story behind that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pop some popcorn.
For real, right? So I've been taking Zumba since Zumba came out. Like what, 25? How old am I?
27.
27.
Yeah,
Is what we said,
right? You were Zumba when Zumba wasn't cool.
Yes. Zumba was always cool.
I know. I just said that.
So I've been taking it. And so it was this whole like push and shove, I have this passion for dance, but I was raised during a time where dance was not a career path. It was pursuing financial opportunities and being, getting on top of that ladder. And so I started my career in financial services, but dance always called me. I was in talent shows and I just loved to dance, but dance was always available to me. So I was always a student. And of course I was always in the front row, and folks used to tell me all the time, both in New York and Texas, you need to become a Zumba teacher. But I didn't want to give up my profession, right? Like I was so proud of that. And I didn't want to make that commitment because I knew if I made a commitment to people, then that would be a thing for me until it was the kind of Zumba that I'm used to wasn't available, right? And that's the Latin Zumba. That's the merengue and the salsa and the bachata. And I was like, oh shoot, here we go. Now I'm going to bring it. And it means timing is everything, right? It means so much more because I'm able to share my culture with a community that may not be as familiar with my culture as other communities that I lived in.
Oh, I never thought of that. It's a way to share a love of culture.
Yes. That was the reason why I pursued that and the fact that I missed Zumba.
How much joy does teaching a class bring you?
So much joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know me, right? And this is not going to be a surprise. It's not just a Zumba class. It's like, I want you guys to embrace your body. Your body's your tempo. It's a beautiful thing. I want you to flow. I want you to feel the music. And then anytime that I have gone to a Zumba class prior, there was no lesson, right? It was always assumed that you would catch up.
Jump in.
Yeah. And so here I broke it down. When I started, it was like a whole month of like breaking down all the steps. And then we brought them together. And then we actually had a playlist of songs. And they love it.
Is that one of the things that you feel keeps you young, is not just the doing of Zumba, but teaching it as well?
Sure. Keeping me young, keeping me connected to souls, right? Like I can see there was one student in my class that after class, I took him aside and he wanted to get a certain move and I taught him the move. And he came back to me and he said, B, he goes, I know this move now. And I feel smooth. I said, you better go. You feel smooth? That's what I'm talking about. So I love people to find themselves and to realize that they could do things that they didn't think that they could do. Developing people, not only in Zumba, but developing people.
The connections that you make in your class when you teach at Sunshine. Mm-hmm. I think that dance is similar to what you must do when connecting with entrepreneurs that want to come to the region, and you connect them with the government. Sometimes it's a bad word these days, but the government of Bangor. It's an entity. There are people that are running it, and you're almost a conduit between the two. You're dancing in both jobs.
Revelation. I never really thought about it that way, but yes, it's a dance. I mean, connecting with people is a dance. I worked in New York City government, right? So government is government is government. Mm-hmm. It's going to get a bad stigma. It's going to get a stigma of no one really cares. People are not present.
It's big. It's huge.
It's big. It's huge. Yeah. I can't access government. It's transactional. People don't communicate. And so since I've worked in government, I always wanted to eliminate that stigma. I am here. I am present. I'm accessible. I'm a person just like you. And yes, you got to balance that out. There are rules, there's regs, there's processes, but I'm going to communicate with you very honestly. Can we do this? Can we not do this?
Talk to us about your dance partners within the department that you run.
So what's interesting is that I do not run a department. I run a division. What is equally interesting is that my division consists of two people, that being myself and another person. I have never been in a position where I had limited resources, even at the start. Like I think my smallest team was 10, and then it went upwards of 500. So I dance with that person. So right now, I actually have a new person starting. I dance with that person in terms of what are their strengths, what is mine. And it's almost like it's hard to have this traditional, you report to me, because it's almost like a tag team. Like we have to be a team. And I have to get to understand what that person brings to the table beyond the interview, right? Like I hired you for a reason, but now let me get to really know you so we can do this work. And it's also a dance with my creativity. I tell this story often. I had to say, oh my goodness, only two people. And we're going to do all these things because I'm here to make impact, right? I'm here to do things that have never been done before. So being creative with extending a team of partners, right? We don't want to duplicate our efforts. So who are my partners in this ecosystem called economic development? And then bringing on interns and investing in interns in a way that they can help us produce while they get the experience they need to enter the market.
More teaching of dancing. Wow.
Yeah. What people, and I'm very passionate about this means a lot to me. Don't bring on a young person who's going to be a future leader without having the time to invest in them and guide them and lead them. I have 3 interns now, and I had to take a significant amount of time to sit and understand who they were, what they were interested in, because that's my responsibility to know, and how they can help me. And then create an actual 8-week plan on what it is that we're going to be working on, what your deliverables are going to be, just like a team, right? It's a reciprocal relationship. Yes, I need an extended team to move this work forward, but I'm here for you, and you're going to be our future leader, and you need to be well equipped to do so.
What do entrepreneurs, what do corporations, what do businesses not realize that Greater Bangor has to offer them?
It's a good question. Opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity here, and there's not a lot of competition. So the markets are not saturated. Accessibility. So you can access government, organizations, entrepreneurial organizations, innovators There's innovation that's happening here. And this is one of the things that I want to drive home as well, that I say often. No shame on Maine. I think Maine is a place where the people of Maine are not superficial. They're not interested in shouting from the rooftops what it is that we're doing here. This is our state and we're doing it.
We don't like bragging about it.
No bragging, but promotion is not bragging. Right. And so the mindset has to shift. It's about telling your story and telling it well. We are part of the United States and we do this really well. And we have a great quality of life while doing this really hard thing, right? And being innovative and create. I think of the Composite Center at UMaine and all the phenomenal things that are being done there. But we don't do a good enough job at consistently talking about it. I do, because that's not my culture, right? And so that's a difference in culture there, right? New York and Maine.
Yeah.
We talk about it. And ever since I got here, I've used social media as a tool to talk about it. And it's gained a lot of attention. And I've been able to build relationships elsewhere because people are so curious. Like, I've never heard of Maine in that way. I mean, what are the things that they hear? It's cold, lobster, vacation land. It's so much more.
Stephen King. Don't forget
Stephen King.
Yeah, I feel like Maine has a low self-esteem problem. I feel like we really don't know how great the state is internally. And I think all the reasons you just mentioned. And there is so much opportunity here. I'm a believer you can do anything you want to here. You just have to adapt it a little bit to fit within Maine. But I think you really can do anything here. And I think that message has to get out more. And you are absolutely carrying that message. How do we get that out more?
We start to change the mindset that promoting and telling our story is not bragging. The other piece of this is that I do feel like there's this mindset of we don't want to be saturated. We don't want anybody and everyone coming here. However, we need to be really realistic in knowing that this state is not going to thrive if we don't increase its population.
I can imagine with your experience in Texas and in Staten
Island.
Come on.
I know.
Come on, Rick.
Let me hear it.
I was intentionally mispronouncing it to make sure that I was getting your attention.
That's what he always says. Facts.
You're seeing other regions of the United States of America rightfully bragging, a righteous pride. If we didn't call it bragging, no one likes a bragger, but you can respect someone that's proud of what they do.
Sure.
Maybe that's what we need to do.
A righteous pride. Oxymoronic, kinda, but not so.
Yeah.
Was it Bud Levitt that said, don't go bragging just because you're from Maine?
I thought that was a song by Elton John and Kiki D.
No.
Don't Go Breaking My Heart. That's what that was.
Facts. Or facts. I think there is a difference. I think it's promoting versus bragging, but I think it's changing the mindset of people here.
What do we stand to lose if we don't change this mindset? Are we going to lose out to Rhode Island again? Are we going to lose out to New Hampshire again? I don't want to see Maine lose out.
I think in my role, it's important to bring forth concrete examples. I will give an annual report to City Council, and in that report, I will talk about the various places that I visited and the conversations that I had, and perhaps the people that have come to visit because of those things, right? Just show the impact and show the actual metrics around what it is that I'm saying that we need to do more of. I also think that the same qualities that Maine has oftentimes makes it hesitate on certain things. So for instance, let me give you an example. So Maine prides itself on being very pure. So this is the first place that I haven't seen a lot of social media, or the social media is not used as a tool for business. It's used more as a casual, this is where I am, this is where I'm going. But to be strategic and use it as a tool, I can't tell you how much response I get from being on LinkedIn and showcasing the work that we're doing and getting the credibility, not only within Maine, but outside of Maine, right? Like, we need to embrace the things that we know are not going away. Technology is not going away. Social media is not going away. Just engage in it in a way that makes you feel like you're being true to yourself. So we're being responsible, we're being truthful, but we need to be more strategic in how we do things.
We have a last personal question for you.
Sure.
What is Shirley thinking as she looks down on her little girl and how she's helping run a region, making it better?
So Shirley, my mother was an immigrant from Aruba, and I ran for office, you guys. I don't know if you know that, but I ran for the mayor of Beaumont, Texas. I ran for city council. I had some really big jobs, and it was so interesting to me. It was hard for my mother to get her mind around her daughter was in a leadership position. And one of the reasons why I always pursued leadership is because I remember being a little girl and my mother wanting to stay under the radar and offered positions and not take them because she didn't want the responsibility or it made her nervous. And I was like, that is not going to be me. So I'll give you one example, which was astonishing to me and Jason, my husband. I ran a workforce development program in Houston, and I had a team of probably about 50 over across a 13-county region. I had a party at my house. And so this one older white man, he was probably about, Bob, love Bob, probably about 60 at the time. He came and I said, Bob, let me introduce you to my mom. And so my mom could not fathom that this man reported to me. That's her experience, right? And I got a little annoyed because I'm like, Ma, you invested all of this, like Catholic school, 1st to 12th grade, and that wasn't her experience. So then she saw me run for mayor and she was like, mayor? And she had this doubt, right? Like she knew I was very smart and she knew I was driven, but she had this element of doubt. My father, the Puerto Rican, no doubt at all. My daughter, J-Lo, she can do anything. She can be J-Lo. Right?
Explains the Zumba.
Yes. My father, big time dancer. I think with my mother consistently seeing me push for those leadership positions, when she passed, there's no surprise. So you say, what would Shirley think? Shirley has always been proud. Shirley would not be surprised. And one of the things I did for Shirley in this role is I facilitated an MOU with Huston University and the Aruban government to form a partnership where Aruban students can come to Huston with a scholarship and subsidized tuition.
Wow.
And that was in the name of my mother. And the whole MOU talks about the fact that my mother didn't go to college. And so all of these students will be able to come to the U.S. and have this opportunity in Maine, international relations, and in my mother's name. So I think that Shirley is cheering, and she's finally a believer, always proud, but finally a believer in what she thought was impossible.
Thanks for listening to the Ric and Dan Show.
Next show, we're giving out free S&H green stamps.
Ooh.
If you like what you heard, don't suppose you'd click that subscribe button.
And maybe leave us a review on your favorite listening platform.
5 stars are our favorite.
And next time you hear someone say,
You can't get there from here,
you tell them to listen to the Ric and Dan Show.